Welcome, everybody. If you're a subscriber to YouTube, thank you so much.
you.
You got the little dingy ding going on. You know what I'm saying? Let y'all know that we are here. So
We are here.
without further ado, let me go ahead and tweet the link out real quick, and we can get the show started. Yeah, I mean, what a fucking week of wrestling. Yeah, we said that this week of wrestling was fire. And here we are, man. So everybody get their takes, everybody, you know what I mean? But it's free wrestling. Yeah, so
Yeah, man, here we're here.
here we here. You know what I mean?
man,
So
yeah.
let me go ahead and tweet this link out, and
Yeah.
we'll be live. You know what I mean, with the show. And
Minute.
it's been a minute, man.
Been a
You know what I
minute,
mean?
yeah.
Big
It's been a
minute.
lot
You know
going
what I
on in
mean?
the wrestling world. Shout out to Al Snow, man. Shout out to Al
Shout out,
Snow.
Al Snow. Yeah, yo. If
Yeah,
you're on the
and I'm
live,
gonna say it on the pod too,
yeah,
but
be
yeah, if you're on the live right now,
shout
out
out
to
to
Al
Al
Snow.
Snow.
He saved the kid's life, and
Man.
we'll talk about that on the pod at the end. And
Yeah,
but
man.
yeah, man, just there's a couple of things that we'll touch on, and towards the end of the pod, so stick around.
All right, here we go. We're going live. Recording. 3, 2. All right, we're gonna redo this one more time. Do not know what the fuck just
I must
happened.
have touched something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what
All
happened.
right. Let's go again. It's fine. And 3, 2. Yeah.
Gang shit.
Yo, what's happening, everybody? It is I, the Most High, my tag team partner, CT, aka Chitty Bang.
What's good, everybody?
My nigga's rolling his own joint today.
Yes, I got you, right? Nah, I'm rolling joints before the pod. I don't like rolling joints on the pod. That's the thing about it. I'm not the joint roller Ayatollah. I am Chitty Bang. I roll joints and I gotta think, while I'm rolling the joint, because I'm like, okay, how am I gonna do it? So I'm gonna try to do this during the pod and see how it goes. But we are the underground of Professional Wrestling Podcast. I'm Chitty Bang, and this is the Most High, and we had a bang out that we could wrestle. But
I told my guy, I said, listen, roll your joint, I'll dry the whip. You feel me? You know what I mean? Like, I'll dry the whip, I'll lead the show off, I'll get us going. Yeah, you know I mean, and honestly, it's just for us to tell y'all what we got going on. You know what I mean? Hit us up. Everything is wrestling. Move the head a little bit. You see the motherfucker. Everything is wrestling. That's what we are. That's what we do. EIWshop.com. You can pull up and get you a pack of joint roller Ayatollah rolling papers. What the hell? Come on. The best rolling papers that you do not have. You can go. Yo, we still got the Ben Balor shirt up. If y'all, you know what I mean, go to EIWshop.com. We are live on. Come on.
He's back.
We live on Patreon. Hit up the Patreon link. We'll have it down here. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on Instagram and Facebook. Now, Twitter, we're RW1 Podcast. RW Podcast 1. I fucked that up because I am high. Twitter, we're RW Podcast 1. And on Instagram and Facebook, we are Reasonable Wrestling. Shout out to everybody that fuck with us, subscribe, like, share, retweet, all that good shit.
Shout out to the patrons, the patrons. Oh, man. On our Patreon that just fucking with us. We got some good content on there. More coming this month.
Coming this month. You feel me? Now CT will usually ask me, "How's life? How's the kids?" And I will be obliged right now to let you know that my son, my oldest boy, my first boy, my baby boy, turned 2 this week.
His namesake.
You feel me?
Yes. Happy birthday to Chris Jr. Christopher Jr., 2 years old, man. How's it feel to have a 2-year-old kid, man? Come on, man.
Honestly, to be honest,
2 years you've been a papa.
he changed kind of the trajectory of everything that I got going on right now. Yeah, I mean, honestly, even down to the podcast and how we move with the podcast.
Yep.
Like, yo, it can't be for leisure no more. We gotta try to make some bread out of it. Yeah, I mean, like
everybody listening to right now the pod. I'll say this: always try to make your passions eventually. Do your passions because you love them first and foremost. Just do them. Just makes you happy. But if you can turn that into an income source, it just makes your life that much more blessed. So and when you have family, it's even more important that you take that to that degree. So a lot of people would say doing a podcast while having a kid, they wouldn't stop it. So I give you credit all the time about sticking it through, being consistent with the pod, and having a family. Me, I'm a bachelor, baby. Fuck what you heard. So happy birthday, Chris Jr. though. That's a good though.
Yo, and honestly, with that being said, like that's the kind of reason why we didn't really do reaction to All Out, which was on the 5th. You know what I mean? And we let it breathe, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because we could have been hella reactionary. You know what I mean? We were communicating via the text and everything like that. And I said I gave it a C- show and C+ show, and my nigga was like, "Oh, bro, that's wow." You know what I mean?
Like, I've been saying, okay, let me ask you a question. Has AEW made a statement, in your opinion?
AEW made a statement, in my opinion. AEW been made a statement though, so I am going to be forthcoming and let everybody know I am a WWE bias. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. We've gotten there on the pod finally. He admits his bias to WWE, and that's fine because you feel it, you understand it, you admit it. But when it comes to just wrestling and the energy that's going on right now, AEW has raised the bar, man. They have raised the bar of the industry, and that's what they wanted to do, and they're doing it.
Now, I would say pause on that, because prior to there was an AEW, some would say New Japan did that.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say that New Japan has always been good, but they definitely got interest, a buzz during the time where I felt like, yes, New Japan, not necessarily shaking up the industry, but New Japan is also a company out there that is like, hey, people want to work at. People want to see what's going on.
You never thought that New Japan was shaking up the industry, even when they had Bullet Club?
No, when they had Bullet Club, I think that started to so
that's
I started to add intrigue to their show. To their wrestling show. That it garnered attention. Get the Bullet Club. That's what I mean. But shaking up the industry is having the fans go nuts and talk about your shit as the main topic of conversation in the industry. New Japan, they had moments.
People were definitely doing that when it was Kenny Okada, when it was,
it wasn't like this, though.
It wasn't like this? It was never like this?
No. It's not like this. We no one ever thought that New Japan was a place where all indie fans were gonna pick. It was hard to even get the content on a consistent basis.
Okay.
They had to come up with the whole streaming service, and eventually, it was never like, hey, you got a television show, and then, we can talk about the debuts and all that with All Out, which is great. We'll get into that.
But we're talking about strictly the show.
Strictly the show. From top to bottom. It was a really good wrestling show. I gave it an A. At the very least, I would say a B+. And I don't like rating things, but
I said it was an above average show. And it was an above average show that had really good matches, and then the debut on there.
Yeah, it took you through a kind of a roller coaster with emotions. And
was it a roller coaster with the show?
I think the excitement of the night was not just wrestling fans. It was wrestlers. It was the industry online talking about this monumental show. And what they brought you to the show for was obviously CM Punk. And they were in Chicago, All Out, CM Punk having his first match back. But what they gave you on top of that was a full wrestling experience from top to bottom. The opener, Miro versus Eddie Kingston. I'm like, all right, cool. My boy Eddie Kingston's out there. I'll fuck with them. Miro, obviously great talent. I didn't think they would have such a good match, though. I didn't know they would have chemistry. They had a really good match. They had a really good match, and I'm like, if you maybe you should.
No, it was a good. That's
Okay.
the match. That's again. That's I'm not saying that was the match that was good. That was one of the matches that was good. That was
Okay.
one of the things that was. Okay. Eddie and Miro was a good match. Was it a good storyline? No.
I don't
So-
mind. Here's what I would say about the TNT Championship.
Okay.
And for you,
Okay.
you wanted more for a storyline, and that's fair.
Because we all want it. That's what we
Oh.
arguing about. That's what we, bruh. That's my whole thing of why I had a situation with I talked about it with the Joe from the just whatever the fuck, and then Phil. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's the distraction. I don't want disrespect, but fuck it, they probably won't know what our shit is either. So, okay, if we're gonna say lack of direction, or if we're going to say writing's important, if we're going to say getting me there matters and things of that nature, I look at that on both sides.
Here's what I would say about Eddie Kingston and Mills program.
Okay.
Did I think it was the best built program? Absolutely not. I do think they tried with the whole angle of, hey, listen, I'm going to go for your weakness. You have a weakness to the DDT, and that's what the angle was built around. And
When has Miro ever been susceptible to the DDT?
They did the whole thing with the DDT with all the challenges he's had. Was like the biggest moment of like the night where he would get the DDT from that guy with the mask, and then is he gonna be pinned? And no, he wouldn't get pinned. Then Lee did it, or not Lee. What's the black dude's name? That's on Nightmare Family.
Lee Johnson.
Lee Johnson's. Okay, it is Lee. So they got two black dudes named Lee on their show, which is great.
It's like Leroy. just short for Leroy. We just got two Lees.
I thought that was okay. I thought I was making a mistake, but I guess not. But yeah, he did the DDT on him too, and then they started building, Eddie Kingston with that DDT, and they built the match that way. If you were paying attention, that's what happened. I didn't per se like it, but I watched it. It was an opener match. And when I actually watched the show,
it was a good match.
It was damn good.
I didn't say it was a good match. I said the show was above average. So if you want to go down the line of fuck it, we'll do it. No, we're here. And we said we was gonna start the show off hot, which we are.
With AEW.
With AEW. We said we was gonna start off the show hot with AEW. And AEW All Out, I'm not trying to say that was a bad show, but I've also said Backlash was a good show, and niggas would tell me it ain't. You know what I mean? Or I
want you to tell me why it was above average, okay. and that's good. That's not a bad thing to say. I'm not saying that you're wrong that it's above average. I think that I'm just explaining why I thought it was a really great show.
As far as
top
it being
to bottom.
A show,
and I don't need to go through the entire card.
Well,
I'm telling you what I like.
As an A show, I'm not gonna say that was an A show because it was too long.
Too long.
It was a too long show for them not to give us a lot of bangers. They gave us the tag match was a banger. Miro and Kingston was a banger. Darby and CM Punk was a good match. And then what else?
Kenny and Christian was a good match too.
I saw it already.
Okay, yeah, I know. But
okay.
then you get the
I got the ending. Okay,
you get the end, and we get Ruby Soho, making her debut. That was awesome. We got Minoru Suzuki coming out of nowhere with John Moxley. I appreciated that. So I think the show altogether, not that everything's going to hit for you, but as far as, serving your audience, getting interest and buzz and people saying, damn, I got my money's worth, that was the best AEW show they've put on yet.
You
don't think so?
I'm not in the revisionist history portion of it. I'm not going to be caught up in a moment with it. You feel me?
That's what I want from my AEW pay-per-views. I want them to bring shock, awe, intrigue.
But they're not going to be able to. That's not sustainable.
Maybe not. We'll see what they can do. We'll see.
Can we duplicate Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan coming out after every fucking show?
Yes. I think that if you just wait in time,
okay,
you get a Braun Strowman. You wait in time, you get a Bray Wyatt. You wait. And when you get to those pay-per-views and you save those moments for, hey, listen, we got something coming for you guys. Now, I know that they're going to love. Whether it's freaking Kota Ibushi making a return and facing Kenny Omega. I don't know. There's many creative ways in the wrestling industry that you can make like, oh, that was a great surprise. Also, it doesn't have to be done that way alone. If it's a night of all just banger matches, then that's another way that you can have a great show. Be careful with the beard and get caught up by your own air. You shut this whole shit down.
Oh shit.
End up like fucking Kane. But yo, deadass, like I gotta hand it to AEW. They have not made a really egregious misstep to me. I think that they've found what works for them, and I think that they found their niche, and it's gonna work. Listen, Daniel Bryan was a main eventing WrestleMania this year, the main event. The same year, 6 months later, he's your top star in your company, one of the top stars in your company. That's a great get. Like so WWE is enough to put them in the main event, and you got him like just 6 months later. Fresh off of a main event in WrestleMania, the biggest show in wrestling. That's huge. That means that there's a multitude of, and then you got CM Punk back on top of that, and Adam Cole, a young talent that we're waiting to see get called to the main roster. Nah, y'all snagged him like a whole coup with his, he's on the same roster with his wife. That's so cool that they have a brotherhood backstage that they can put this shit together and have a wrestling show that people want to go to. Cedric Alexander's tweeting like, yo, I'm jealous of Swole because Swole's getting out there. People are chanting Swole. That energy is infectious, man. So I see that AEW right now, right now the sky's the limit, but it's just a matter of them making the right steps. Are they going to make all the right steps all the way? Absolutely not. I think that absolutely.
I'm not necessarily criticizing them for that. I'm talking specifically about All Out because Swole wasn't on All Out.
She was.
Well, she was in the. I'm sorry, she was on All Out. She was in the Casino Battle Royale, and it was swift. Yeah, I mean, like it was. You know what I mean, like, but. That goes back to I can't complain about one. I complain about other. SmackDown's back at 2 back-to-back shows without a women's match. You know what I mean? So, and the people that we want to see and advocate for is not available for us to do that for. So, like that, those are two different conversations.
Yeah.
As far as All Out gave a feel to wrestling. It gave an energy to wrestling. It gave a jolt into wrestling. But that also does not negate the fact that the whole thing didn't work for me.
No, and I want,
you know what I mean?
You can tell us why. What are you looking for? Like, what can AEW done better for you to make that a full package?
So, I mean, honestly, to be honest, Jericho has to lose. QT Marshall and fucking Big Show can be on Rampage or Dynamite or whatever. They do not need to take up time for the show because that could have gave something a little extra beat. That could have gave the tag match just a little bit extra.
The tag match did not need a beat at all.
It was a great match, but like I said, the finish, right? Like if I can remember the finish correctly, I would have just, I don't know, like.
Dude, that was one of the best matches of the year. It was
one of the best matches of the year.
One of the best matches of the year. So I can't say nothing about when I'm saying a match is one of the best matches of the year. I can't then say it needed another beat. I can't say that you could have cut another match. Now, granted, they could have given something else, but QT Marshall and Big Show, you can throw it out. They use it as a cooler. They know their product. They know their fan base. Like, all right, this is gonna be a cool down before we get with the main event between CM Punk and Darby. CM Punk and Darby had a good match as well, So CM Punk looks in good shape. He looks like he's ready to go. Him alone. And what I learned about AEW is that, especially with the CM Punk match, and it reminded me of Cody Rhodes and what he brings to the table with the company. The way they tell their stories in the match is paced a lot differently. CM Punk brings a different flavor in terms of pacing of a match. And I think he's going to teach Darby and other people in AEW how to drag it out and tell a story in the ring a little bit better. And I think that's what CM Punk provides as far as a talent to AEW. That match was good to me. It wasn't like crazy, but I know it was a babyface versus babyface match. It really is just to see CM Punk go. And we got it, So, as I said, the tag match was one of the best matches of the year so far. So that's why I gave it that way. And I see where you're getting with QT Marshall and Big Show. Fair point, completely.
But I will say this. After this commercial break, we're going to reset on the cameras. I got to run out to the car real quick. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to leave this with this. All Out was a good show but I'm basing All Out from the build into All Out, the pay per view, and then the aftermath of All Out because all encompassing of the show gives me the vibe of where the company is. And like you say, I'm not down or desecrating. Damn, am I using that word right? I'm not trying to.
2 hours later.
Come on, that's a fire joint, yeah. Like, get out, that's a fire joint. We right back, yo. That's fire. All right, we're gonna reset this. I gotta run this outside real quick. Oh man, damn. Make sure you stop
till you come back in.
All right, did that stop? That stop?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it stops.
All right, cool. I'm going. Nah, this is good because now we about to flow into AEW. Now we can flow into business and logic of the show.
Yeah. Telling y'all, like, I don't like smoking. I don't like not like smoking, of course. I don't like rolling on the pie because I got to think so hard because I don't roll them as quick or nice as other people. I usually get them rolled for me unless I'm by myself. It's not that bad though. I think if I was rolling this joint, people would be pleased, right? I think it's nice. But I gotta be concentrating to do this shit, man. This nigga can roll joints in the rain and shit. I can't do that. But yo, bring it to AEW, man. I just he admitted he's biased, but AEW is doing great work right now all around. I think there's gonna be a lot of great wrestling coming down the line because the competition breeds, competition breeds just an increase in talent all around. It breeds talent, it breeds people caring about the art form to the degree where they want to be better than the other show, than the other people in the industry. I think that when people are, damn, seeing Ruby Soho come out, right? After we all knew, and her getting that pop, a pop that she's never gotten in WWE, that she deserves because I've been a big fan. I know a lot of people are a big fan of Ruby when she was Ruby Riott. Her and Asuka linked up and they had a great match in WWE Raw once, and I was like, what the fuck are they doing with her? Why are they not using her in the way that is needed? Because she has the look, she can talk, she got the talent in the ring, So all in all out to me was an A, and it was the best show that they've done thus far. The excitement of the night. They had a classic match on the night. They showcased a lot of the new young talent, maybe in different ways. The Battle Royale for the women's division. I think it showed that they have a women's division that's growing on us over time. So yeah, they fixed their women's division for over the course of the past year that we've been talking about. Hey, they need more women. They fixed it. We're here now. Now we got Ruby Riott. We have Ruby Soho, Britt Baker. We got Jade Cargill. We got Nyla Rose. All those people on the women's division right now that can compete for the championship. So they fixed it, that division. So all in all, AEW is gonna be all right. It's just if they can take it up a notch from here, and keep us intrigued. And I think they're on the right path. And we'll get into how the shows are doing that now going forward. But are these two on?
Yep, I just hit them both. All right, so starting off back where I was talking about with what I liked about the show and what I didn't like about the show and the flow of the show and things of that nature. I'm being a dick by calling it a C show. All right, like I'm being a dick by calling it a C show.
I mean, you already said you're biased. So
but but honestly, it was presentation wise, right? Because we talk about all encompassing, right? It's presentation. That they both should be on, but presentation, booking, the matches, of course. Like those are the things that are involved in making a good show. You know what I mean? Like, and to be honest, AEW it was a 70-30 show, and they did a really good job in doing what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, I would agree with that. 70
Like,
30.
it was
But
a
that's
real-
all I need. I said I need three things for me to have like an A show. I got a great opener for me. I got a great opener. I got a classic match. I got some great surprises. And 70 is, I think, what about 3/4 of 100%. You know.
But that's in school wise. 70 is also a C. So
Okay.
so like if like and if and that's my
That's
thing.
fair. I
You
mean,
feel me?
if
Like,
if
so
that's how you feel,
so
because it wasn't like everything hit for you.
exactly.
You know, and but I
and
don't think what show? There's like one show or two in wrestling history that everything hit.
well, I mean, okay, so that goes back to the conversation of, can I be biased and be objective? And people do not think that that's possible, including you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so let me know why you think that if you're biased to something, you can't be objective.
Here's the
to
thing:
something.
if you admittedly are biased to something, admittedly are biased. It's like I'm biased. I like WWE, you know, and they're doing the best work in professional wrestling industry, and they're always going to have the best work because they're WWE. They've been doing it all this time, and they perfected it. Great. You can't be objective if you're looking at the other product because you are already grading in comparison to what you've been conditioned to like as far as a presentation in wrestling. You know, so if something is working, it's working. You know, you may not say if you like it, but it's working as like hell, and there's a fan base for it, and that's objective point of view. If you want to say, hey, their numbers are not where it needs to be, or their money is not where it needs to be, that's an objective point of view. If you want to say that, or if you want to say, hey, they don't have enough black stars on the show, that's an objective point of view. But if you're gonna say, oh, well, actually, that's kind of subjective because some people, I'm not sure. To me, I think that's objective to say that you should appeal to everybody if you're a wrestling company. So I think that saying they don't have enough black stars, and we'll get to the fact that they do kind of have black stars on the rising in the company.
Correct.
But it's still an objective opinion. But when you get to like, hey, that show wasn't good, that's now subjective, and you already are conditioned to like a certain way.
Well, I can say is okay. So can I? Is there a okay?
We have that's fine.
Well, I'm just okay. So is there a universal bad show?
I would say no. There is not a universal bad show. I think that there are people who have opinions on shows, and your opinion is not always going to match somebody else's opinion on wrestling.
Correct.
Especially if you're an old school fan, you're going to have an opinion that some of these new cats are going to be like, you're crazy, you're old, you know, like that's not what we're looking for in wrestling anymore, you know? And
but you can always, okay. WWE cut Zelina's match last night on SmackDown.
Correct.
That was in bad taste. Now WWE is a shit company because they used that show to celebrate those who were lost. Somebody actually did lose them, and you could have gave that moment.
And that's where I want to give a nod to AEW, because AEW would have definitely capitalized on that moment to give her a match, even though it's not like even though you might have other acts you're trying to build, they'll give Brian Pillman a match in Cincinnati because he's from there, you know, and Britt Baker will be on TV in Pittsburgh because she's from there, and that it means something. And then, you know, Zelina being from New York and having all night, like, you know, the night before 9/11, you know, I think just because they're just built differently. WWE's a corporation. AEW seems like a family of guys who are like, you know, hey, you know, we're gonna do what feels right, you know, and that's, you know, WWE's a machine. I mean, you can't expect to get
okay. They say okay,
machine.
So but I know, but you say we're gonna do things that feels right. Feels right is not always fact based.
Yeah, that's subjective too.
So with that being said,
because some people would say like, yeah, Zelina should have been on the show, or they could say like, yeah, I don't want to see Brian Pillman in the main event of Rampage. I don't care if he's in his own house, and that's all right to have your opinion on that. But to me, my opinion is they're just different companies that they handle that business differently.
So with that being said, can I say Rampage objectively, watching the show, fact based, saying that could you have given me Andrade Impact to end the show rather than Brian Pillman because regardless of Brian Pillman and Moxley ending the show, we got Moxley on Wednesday. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't even know if that was a part of TV. I didn't stay to watch it because I didn't care about the match.
They celebrated, and that's what it was. And it was a Cincinnati show, and I definitely think that they're hometown boys, and they gave them a moment. It was about them. It wasn't about, hey, we're trying to get this result in the future. We're trying to book this person in this way. They got what they needed with the Dion Bryan promo and Adam Cole promos. They got what they needed for them, and they're saving them for Dynamite next week. I think that especially with Rampage, they might have a little bit less structure to me. So far it seems they're going more based off, okay, what town are we in for Rampage, and let's give them a good match.
But it's a tape show though.
It's a tape show.
It's always so, and that's another thing too. Like, Rampage is taped after Dynamite and Elevation, I think, is their other show, or Dark, whatever, one of the joints. And so that crowd is also
tired. They're like, this is awesome.
And, you know what I mean?
Even though Andrade and Pac had a great match, the Cincinnati crowd by that time, I feel like we're worn out, because they were taking a chant, this is awesome, but like almost like enthusiastically, because they know it's awesome, but they're probably fucking tired. And then, they're like, oh, fight forever, and they two times, and then it stopped. I do think that plays into the show, of the presentation of it.
So if I'm saying presentation matters, the way you book a show matters, the way you structure a show matters, and then the actual wrestling matters, those are all kind of, I know they're subjective, but I think in agreement we can say that the excitement for Pac and Andrade deserved more than a tired crowd. So even if
I think so too.
You know what I mean?
Agree with that. So that was a great match, and I want to see it again actually, because obviously Chavo got involved, and it was they're building something with.
If anything, just give me it at the next Dynamite. Because what I'm looking at, they had 3 matches scheduled for an hour show. Including
they knew we were coming for Pac and Andrade. That's why they put them there, But I don't know how they look at their entire roster. They might not see Pac and Andrade as the top draws. I'm not sure, but I know that I came to see them.
Brian Pillman and MJF is.
I think that Brian Pillman, they see something and they're trying to build with him and give him the rub with Jon Moxley in Cincinnati. And Brian Pillman, we'll see. I think as a babyface, he has potential. I don't think there's anything wrong with Brian Pillman, and MJF is the man. What are you talking about?
He's not the... Okay.
What do you mean?
MJF lost to Chris Jericho at All Out. Now, where the fuck does he go now? He's not going for either time. And we said that feud had to make him the biggest fucking piece of shit. Well, he is that. But he has to be the biggest heel in the company.
He's not the biggest heel, but that's because Kenny Omega and the Elite right now have that spot. And that's because the championship is not on MJF.
Bro, so the Pinnacle is what then? Because also...
You're right. I would say the Pinnacle needs to be more cohesive, because if you guys are like, you guys have did so much with the Inner Circle, having them do fucking all types of antics together. Keep the Pinnacle as a strong group. I like them separately too, with Tony Brancher doing his thing, but I want them to see him as like the top heel group in the company and move, past some. Like, I want to break up the Inner Circle, honestly. I think that's like, just break them up at this point, because Jericho's good on the mic. Sammy Guevara, I think, should be a solo act. Break up Death Triangle too. I think Pac should be a solo act. That's just my opinion. But I see what you're saying. Brian Pillman Jr. after Chris Jericho, it's like, okay, MJF is just in the middle somewhere, and he is. You're right. He's in the mid card, but right now MJF has enough cachet to be the A in the angle with Brian Pillman. His time's gonna come. I want it to be sooner than later. I personally am a huge fan, so I thought that he should be the biggest heel by now. But they took their time. They took their time with Kenny Omega, and they got him to a point where he's the main guy in the company, and they're doing a slow build with their roster. They're taking their time with Jay Cargill. I want to see more from Jay, but I don't want to, like, they gave us 2 big returns on All Out, right? That is going to change the way the way they plan things for the future. So off rip, things are going to be different. and then they brought in Ruby Soho. You know, Jade Cargill, she's gonna get her moment. I know it is. It's written in stone. But I think you can't give it all on All Out. And MJF gets. Only thing I would say, MJF should have beat Chris Jericho.
So yes. Okay, okay. You build up Kenny Omega to this point. He has this match with Bryan Danielson coming up. Danielson can't lose.
We'll see.
I mean, now he can with some antics and shit like that, but if he came in, Kenny said, "Give me the room." Kenny wanted it one-on-one. Now, honestly, after he got his ass, that's what your group does. But if it is going to be a one-on-one thing, which clearly Moxley lost the one-on-one match with fucking Don Callis, so I get it. But like,
if Daniel Bryan takes the title,
right? So the landscape of the company now is, like you say, it is different because guys like Darby, guys like MJF, which when we talk about the heavyweight championship, I didn't think Darby was a heavyweight champion. So
that's fair.
As a star, though, as a person that is going to continue,
to rise. I think there's a moment in time. Not right now. When I say Darby as heavyweight champion,
right.
I don't think in the next 3 weeks or the next month. 3 months.
That's going. In the next 3 years.
The next,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, within the next, honestly, I would say 2 years, a year and a half. Darby can do it, but they have a really stacked roster, so I'm like, it might be longer, But I think Darby is a huge star. MJF is a huge star. People are paying the tickets to see those guys. Like at this point, I do think people who wear the Darby mask or paint, they're gonna get the MJF scarves. They're gonna come with the T-shirts and whatnot. I love what they're doing with AEW with the guys that they were able to get over during this period of time. Britt Baker, huge star. AEW, she got over in AEW. That's it. I don't care about what she did in other companies because I think this is where she's made her mark, and that's an AEW product through and through. Brought in a couple of pieces with Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole in the mix. As far as intrigue and possibility and potential matchups and CM Punk, we're not even talking about CM Punk. There's a ton of potential right now on the roster, But we'll see how things go. And I get what you're saying.
Well, I'm just saying. Okay, let's get into the AEW's business and logic, right? They're doing really great business, and that's always what I've commended WWE from doing as well.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to again, my bias and how I look at it, there are holes in WWE that before there was a fucking AEW. That's what I'm saying. Niggas don't know me. Niggas never listened to the podcast before, or niggas don't listen to the podcast. They only and that's why I tweet what the fuck I tweet, because I say what the fuck I say. Before there was an AEW, I was not watching Raw at all. I know what bad Raw is. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to keep bitching like I did 3 years ago, because 3 years ago, it's not as bad as it is right now. I'm 3 years later, it's not as bad as it is.
It's a matter
right
if you call what you call bitching at that point, because at the end of the day, people have podcasts, people got articles, people got doing their jobs in wrestling industry, talking about it, commenting on it, being pundits, whatever you want to say. If you watch something like because I know AEW's been, but if you're watching something like it, and it's been bad, you can be like, these are the good pieces about it, but when it's hard to do that, you're going to keep it a buck, and it doesn't mean you're bitching. It's like, this is what I see.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. It's not bitch. There's a difference between bitching and having your gripes about something. I stopped myself from bitching about AEW because it's not bad. And that's my point. WWE ain't the evil empire. WWE don't fucking have.
It depends on what you call bitching, because with AEW, just after All Out, you called it a C, and then you said, "Oh, they don't this, they don't have this, they don't have that." And and that's your opinion, but somebody else might say, "Oh, he's bitching, he's biased," and that's bitching about AEW.
All right, so
it's all a matter of perspective.
Okay, like I said, the matches. Miro and Eddie Kingston was a great match. No story that invested in me. I watched it. Okay, good match. Check. Okay. I told you I didn't give a fuck about Chris Statlander and Britt Baker. I did not even watch the fucking match. Like, even though I
That's
guess it
the
was,
thing, though. Like, that's my thing. Like, you didn't even watch.
I watched the match, but okay. I watched the match uninvested, and then the match didn't invest me.
I hear you, and that's fair. That's fair. I look at it like this. Whenever I watch a match, I'm looking at these people at blank slate. What's the money here? And mind you, it wasn't a bad match,
No.
but it was a match. You know, like, I'm not looking for a classic every single time I see somebody. And what for me in that match, it just said, what is Chris Statlander to me? And I found out that she's a powerhouse. I found out that she has potential in the ring.
Yes,
but she's not there yet.
Right.
You know?
But I shout out to Jason Cade. I knew that already about Chris.
Okay.
Because I, quote unquote, has followed, and not saying that Chris didn't deserve that spot. You know what I mean? Because she came back from injury, worked her ass off, you know, like, and she grinded to get there. Was I invested in the match? Was I invested in the match quality?
Yeah.
Was I invested in the story?
Yeah.
All that shit matters to me.
And it should.
And that matters to other people, other places, as it should.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm just saying, and like I say, niggas only want to call a spade when they talk about niggas. Like, if I'm going to say it one way, I am going to say it the other way, regardless of my bias, nigga. Like, that's my point. In sports, I like a certain team. Does that mean I'm not going to appreciate the presentation that the other fucking league has to offer me? Or the people within it? Like, I'm a Cowboys fan. That game hurt. That game fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Because bias, nigga, I bet that the Cowboys are going to win, knowing that they were going to lose. So, like, but I also can appreciate what's about to happen on Sunday. Gotcha. I'm not going to say that, but
but can you appreciate Tampa Bay? That's the question.
So, in the context of sports, if my team is playing a team, I can respect the goodness of the other team.
Got you.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that doesn't, and so with that going into Marvel and DC, right? I'm conditioned because of what Marvel has given me for movies to
I know I got
think
Marvel
about.
Bias. Yeah.
But that's not going to dictate
how
I look at DC product.
Yeah.
I'll go and watch these, and if it's trash,
you'll say it's trash.
It's trash.
It's good.
It's good. I love Titans.
Okay.
Titans is fire.
I gotta check it out. I gotta give it a fair shot.
Bro, Titans is better than anything invested that I've watched. And WandaVision is really good. Loki's really good. Falcon and Winter Soldier is really good. What If is actually good.
I haven't watched it.
It's good, but
I gotta check out all
Titans got me invested, and I don't know a fuck, and that's my thing.
You don't know them.
I don't know the character.
You don't read comics,
and that's what AEW is. That's what wrestling is. That's what New Japan is. That's what ROH, TNA. I never watched them fucking.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Or All Japan, none of that shit.
I'm glad you brought that up because what you sound like to me when you talk about a biased Marvel fan like me. When I talk about DC, you know, when I talk about DC, that's how you sound to everybody else because you do have a bias, but at the same time, I could say that Batman: Dark Knight was one of my favorite movies of all time.
Bro, Batman trilogy is let me reset this so I can get this on camera, bro. Batman trilogy, Batman Begins is the ultimate all-time best fucking superhero origin movie forever.
Yeah. But doesn't mean that Avengers: Infinity War.
Captain America is definitely second like a motherfucker.
Captain with a soldier and all that shit. It brings a different vibe as far as the product. That's how I look at AEW and WWE. It comes down to, what's your flavor. And me, I like a lot that WWE brings to the table, like what AEW brings to the table. I think that everybody in the wrestling industry has been saying this for a long time. You can like both. We've been doing this since. The fact of the matter that we can even have these conversations means that we're having great wrestling on television. So that right there is a win. But as far as your perspective, being conscious and understanding that, oh, okay, you got a bias, but you can appreciate and just,
But that's always what my point of view has been.
Yeah, but keep that up and don't change. Like don't get into an argument with Phil because he don't get it or that you know who you are. You just keep being you, and at the end of the day, you know where you're coming from. You know you're coming from a basis of your own logic. But yes, I feel like objectivity right now, both wrestling companies are fantastic.
And they're doing really good business. 200,000 buys, something that hasn't been done in North American wrestling since the Great White.
AEW is making history.
Bruh, they're doing great shit. They're doing good shit. Bruh, you know what's funny? Seeing fucking, I think State Farm has WWE and Progressive has AEW, or it's other way around.
Wow.
Like, so, like, the money's even there. You know what I mean? Like, basketball season's about to ramp up. Nigga, rolling right back into fucking TNT being on the fucking. So, they got basketball is going to be advertising for AEW, football is going to be advertising for WWE. Like, they're doing really great shit. Really, really great shit.
It's awesome.
It's fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Like, so, but as far as the subjectiveness of wrestling.
And that's what you want to bring to the both ends of the spectrum. If we're having an objective conversation,
come on.
We're having an objective conversation. If we're having a subjective conversation,
come on.
We're having a subjective conversation. And both can exist in the wrestling atmosphere. And as long as we both understand that, hey, we're having one or the other. If you want to know my real opinions about wrestling and what I like, and know who I am as a person, in my opinion, yeah, we can have that conversation. I respect yours, you respect mine. Oh, you just only watch women wrestling? Go for it. Have at it, fam. Enjoy it.
And let's talk about the RIP NXT stupid shit that's been like, because like, granted, I might have started with, RIP the original origin of what NXT is, but it got hijacked because Vince and Bruce is going to be producing, and niggas is like,
fuck this shit.
Yeah, I'm like, well,
no. The thing, I'll be honest, man. When it comes to NXT, I like the rebrand. When it comes to NXT, I like the idea of the rebrand. Right? It makes perfect sense business wise. They're rebranding it like you mentioned earlier before the pod that it's going to be less of an indie type of feel and more of what they got on the main roster, possibly. They're building larger than life stars. They're synchronizing the entire machine. Triple H ain't just having his own pet project over there anymore. It's, hey, this is the WWE. This is what we fucking do. AEW has now cornered the market as it comes to the kind of like the indie fan who is seeking something more from wrestling, and that's fine. That's not a bad thing. However, the fans of NXT and what it was, I know that subjectively, it hurts a little bit, to see them bring rainbows and put it on the NXT logo because, there was so much passion and excitement behind this product for such a long period of time, and that era of NXT is now dead, in a sense.
It's okay. It's a changing of the logo and a changing of the guard because the black and gold represented, I guess, like you say, it's flag colors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it represented. It was.
We were there the night Tommaso Ciampa won the NXT Women's Championship. It was lit. So that looked like that niche audience of like you if you were there, that energy. And even if you weren't there, if you were watching NXT on the network and Hulu growing up, like, throughout the past years since it started, and like, oh, there's something here that just got your attention. It's WWE, but it's not WWE. It feels a little bit different. What NXT originally was, as far as the vibe was. This is a business move that.
Well, this goes back to I'm not
go ahead.
Business wise. This goes back to what I was saying about New Japan earlier, or possibly PWG or ROH. Were they moving the needle enough
in America?
Back then in America? As far as like you say, WWE was missing a fan. They were missing a demographic, a subset.
They had a subset of fan that was coming to their product and pissed off. consistently.
So
they were still coming and paying.
So they grabbed them though.
Pissed.
But they grabbed them though. They went and grabbed your PWG. They gave your fucking ROH guys. They grabbed your TNA guys and brought them. They've done all of them good service.
Yeah, so they're stars now. Like, oh yeah.
So I don't know, and that goes back to I don't know why the gripe of what they're about to do is happening, because
it's just it's just like
they've molded people. They've created.
It's like seeing. I guess it's like seeing your kid go to college. In a sense, if you want to look at it that way, but you're sad still because it's like they're not.
Nobody's excited about the nobody.
Okay, you're right. It's not like that. What it's like.
It is like when you change your logo. It's like changing your logo.
It's like seeing your kid go to prison. That's what it's. If you like, so here's the thing. Let's keep it real. Keep it real. Does Vince and Bruce Pritchard have right now a good?
They gave us SmackDown.
Okay, that's SmackDown, and that's SmackDown. but here's the thing.
But that's Vince and Bruce, though. You actually think Vince and Bruce?
Is that Vince and Bruce? Is it a lot to do with Heyman and what Roman is doing? I think that the women's division has been great. That maybe that is Vince and Bruce doing the women's division on SmackDown. I think they've been doing good.
And the tag
Big E tag division, So if that's Vince and Bruce, I give them 100% credit. But it doesn't look like, and everything is Vince, mind you, because it runs by Vince. But at the end of the day, I look at it like this: there's also Raw. There's also that's the thing. So that's also Vince and Bruce. So it's like when it comes to this NXT rebrand, we don't know which one is gonna go in. We don't know what bucket they're gonna put it in.
But okay, so if it wasn't Vince and Bruce, do you think niggas would still be bitching because of the fucking Ain't Living Color fucking splash logo?
The reason why I didn't like it was only because AEW Dynamite is also rainbow, and it felt like
is it rainbow?
In the background of the names, they're like rainbow slashes. That's what I saw. I didn't think.
Okay, I didn't like that.
So I thought the color should have been completely different. And just, so that's what I saw. Maybe the other people didn't see it, but other than that, yeah, the logo's a logo, and maybe we'll get used to it over time. Only if the wrestling product is good. That's the thing. If the product is really good for us, it will then grab us, and we will love NXT and for what it is.
So let's talk about what. Okay, so people have talked about NXT isn't what it used to be, and no, it's not. But it has always evolved, because NXT of what the original incarnation of what NXT was, it isn't what it used to be. Feel me? NXT used to have fucking guys like EC3 doing competitions and fucking, you know what I mean? Like like the original incarnation of. So if we're talking about NXT, if we're talking about, but that goes back to objectiveness, right?
Yeah.
The facts is NXT has always and forever evolved. They brought in the fucking American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, during his time as the pure ROH heavyweight champion, was considered the greatest professional wrestler of his generation. And they brought him in and gave him the tutelage of The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They took what that NXT was and then gave you the best wrestler of his generation, who seems to be Finn Balor, Adam Cole, Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, whoever you want to consider, has came to NXT and held that championship. So they really transformed it.
Yeah, absolutely. And they said, who you fuck with outside of here, we're grabbing them and we're going to make them a star.
So now with the ideology of like, all right, who don't you know that we're about to make a fucking star?
Mm-hmm.
I give them all the fucking...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and we got to have... That's what I would say. Fans have to... If you want to rock with NXT, because I'm always going to rock with NXT, I always like, yo, it's my baby, yo, I love this show. Because it was like the young show of all WWE that was, the best thing about wrestling at the time, when it came out. Not when it was a competition, but when it actually became to TV. I believe where it is right now, if you are an NXT fan, a loyal fan of NXT, then just give it an open mind. I know right now they're in a transition period, and we'll see where they do.
And that's what upsets me sometimes about
205 Live is too. They have freaking Odyssey Jones on there, so like it's not 205 Live anymore. No cruiserweights. They don't give a fuck about the name. Yeah, so they're figuring things out. And when the competition moves, that makes you move. So they gotta do something. They gotta figure something out.
And like you say, NXT does not have that indie fan anymore. So with that being said, NXT does have the black fan. Okay, shout out to NXT being kind of the blackest it has ever been. It used to be so white, my nigga, like NXT, and that's what I like about the flavor.
Yeah.
The down to the Wally entrance. I mean the Wally down south swank. That's his joint. Down to, like I said, the living color. That's you know what I mean. Like that's black culture. You got Swerve. You got Carmella. Like you say, you got Odyssey Jones. Mm-hmm. You got fucking. We got
right now. We got Samoa Joe. We got Pete Dunne. We got Kyle O'Reilly. It's a bunch of black people.
Yeah, black people.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Swerve. We got
Swerve Hit Row. We got fucking Carmelo Hayes, which I fucking
Ember Moon.
like. Ember Moon. Like
Casey tag team partner.
Lacey. Damn, she don't go by Lacey Lane no more.
Keep changing her name. But there's a lot of black talent.
There's a lot of black talent, and they're catering to again. We're talking about subsets of audiences that they miss for some time.
I think that it's not just the black thing. They got the Japanese wrestlers there.
Oh yeah, they got the fucking.
They're very much diverse in NXT.
Fucking. Legado del Fantasma. Oh my god, is probably going back to him in a cruiserweight champion in a cruiserweight tournament. He's been the best and most consistent booked wrestler. And if you don't like that, if you don't like that, nigga, then y'all don't know what you know. You know what I mean? Like
Escobar, I want him to be in a feud with Samoa Joe. That's what I want to see. I think that he should just go straight to the main event. I think him and whoever, maybe not even Samoa, him and Kyle O'Reilly, I think could have a great feud. I think him and a lot of these guys. So I think that he's done what he had to do with the with the Cruiserweight Championship. I mean, you don't need to give him the North American Championship to bump him up a notch to the main event when the time is right, obviously. But diversity, you got Io Shirai, there.
Yes.
Came back. Io Shirai, I love Io Shirai. She hasn't been on there for a couple of weeks. So seeing her back in wrestling, I fuck with it because I'm right now my wrestling. By the end of the pod, think about it. But who's your top 5 right now in the wrestling industry? And Io Shirai is in my top 5 in the wrestling industry right now. And she reminds me of like a Japanese chick who just drinks sake and just kicks ass. So I think that she's marketable. So when she gets to the main roster, she's also going to make money. But moving forward with the actual show right now, transition period, like you said. We have Samoa Joe champion. We don't have really a contender. We'll see what happens next week. We got
they got 4 contenders.
But we'll see who's the actual contender. We don't know who's going to come up and take face him. It's going after next week. I'll see where I feel about NXT moving forward because they're going to take us to this rebrand. So it's going to be a new set eventually on the 12th. They also have to actually put the angles together, So I see where they're going with Carmelo Hayes and Swerve. I like it, and it's Carmelo Hayes and Legado. I think that's what's going to come after that. Carmelo Hayes and Swerve. I like the potential. Put it that way. I like the potential of what they have in NXT right now.
I definitely do believe that the potential of what's going on in NXT far outweighs my skepticism. You feel me?
Okay.
And that's and I think people be like, well, if you don't have skepticism one way, why you don't have skepticism the other way? I don't have skepticism for Raw. You know what I mean? Like, because I watch it differently.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like, we've already got to the place where, like, All right, nigga. It's about to be football season, so you know niggas not about to invest the whole it's gonna be watching on delay like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like
why? Are we talking wrong right now? Because
yeah,
I got a question for you.
Let's go.
Why is Bobby in the tag division right now?
I don't think he's in the tag division.
That's what it looks like.
Well, I think okay. I think
it looks like they took your world champion, put him in a tag team, and now they're making a tag team.
show. Okay. So they
because Randy Orton is the main nigga right now on the show. Looks like that's what it looks like.
I think okay. RK Bro got over uncontrollably once they hit the road. I'm just being honest. Okay. That is, you're talking about probably one of the biggest things that's going on in wrestling, right? I think RK Bro, and that's from the popularity of who Riddle is and Randy.
Yeah.
So Randy being a tempo leader, that type of guy, whatever, on the road, and I don't think it's a bad thing that they are highlighting the tag division, but I did get upset that the tag division, like New Day is not out the picture. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're not. They should.
Right. So, but other tag teams like War Raiders, which I believe I just think they need a switch. You know what I mean? Like I just think they need to change.
They need to go to SmackDown.
Yeah, they need to change.
Them and the Usos gonna slap.
Yeah. They need to change the scenery. You know what I mean? So, but my thing, what you say, Bobby and him being in a tag division, who is a challenger for Bobby?
I think that when it comes down to it,
like who
they could have done the same thing with them being somewhat in the tag division and positioned it in a framework of Randy Orton is chasing Bobby because he wants to be a double champion. I think they could have done that way. But they positioned it as Randy RKO's Bobby. Bobby then challenges Randy. Bobby then wins the tag team match and then is taken out by Omos. Bobby is the WWE champion right now. And 2 weeks in a row, he pretty much looks stupid. After killing Goldberg. And I think that energy from killing Goldberg, you just keep riding that energy as keeping him as a dominant champion. So at this point, I don't like the way they use the guy. I don't. I think that Bobby is doing great when he's on the screen. I don't like the way they use him. I think that going forward, if you want to have this Randy Orton Bobby match, cool. But just give me something to be excited about.
Well, so with that, next week or this week, this Monday, is going to be the tag team match.
Mm-hmm.
So it's essentially a throwaway match that's supposed to move towards something else.
Yeah.
That's fine with me because the women division got me intrigued the last couple of weeks.
Alexa? You intrigued by Alexa?
Well, okay, the last couple outside of that.
Well, they just fucked it up.
Nia and Charlotte really got me.
They should have kept that going. Like that's
really
what this thing. That was what the angle should have been for Extreme Rules. Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, hardcore match, whatever you want to do, Extreme Rules match.
But maybe that's not. Hold on, because Shayna interrupted, and so that may not be out of place. So I won't necessarily until it's completely out of place.
Okay, we'll see. I'll watch the movie and shit.
But I know. I see Alexa there. Okay. I do. But I still have I still held out faith that they gave me Roman and Finn for Extreme Rules.
Yeah. And
so
it did happen.
So I'm just waiting.
Yeah,
I mean, like so. But what you talk about with Raw, I did love the United States Championship shit that was going on. You know what I mean? Like the triple threat and then the number one contendership match. And then now we're going to get the Extreme Rules match with the blow up between Priest. And then now I think that goes back into possibly Bobby's next challenger. Because if you look at after he destroyed Goldberg, the three people who came out for Bobby was Priest, Sheamus, and now Drew. Drew can't necessarily have a championship match, so he's just looking for gold. So those are the four kind of top guys, and then Randy being the outside guy by having a championship and being over kind of just puts him. But the top of what they got a Raw is jumbled, but it's working because they haven't had a bad Raw in a while.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, even though it is kind of
I think they have.
directionless.
Me personally, for me, and the subjective me, I'm going to be honest. Raw has not been very entertaining. I think that it's a matter of time before, I just completely check out. RKO is not enough to bring me to the show. I'm sorry, it's just not. It's
The tag team turmoil wasn't? You didn't like an
wasn't.
hour of tag
They
team
split it up
wrestling?
into two. T-Bar and Mace don't get. They almost like. I want to change the channel whenever that they're on screen. I don't think they're bad wrestlers or anything. I just don't care. Whenever they're on TV. I like Mustafa Ali and Mansoor. They try to get them some heat today. I mean, I get it. Like they split up the turmoil because they gave them some heat, getting them to dominate. But they need something for me to make me care about them as a tag team, because if not, they should just split up. New Day is entertaining, but they're not in the angle. Sorry, they're just not. So they're just
Well, they
I love their gear. Shit, I mean, New Day killer gear always. But I'm watching Raw and I'm like, all right, I'm just not excited, and you were sleeping on it. So like, it's just
I wasn't sleeping on Raw. I didn't. Okay, let's be okay. I'm gonna keep. Let's. My son put my ass to sleep. I lay with this little motherfucker, bro, and that nigga started playing with my nipples. And
Well,
then,
Raw
like,
wasn't enough to say, hey, you're gonna keep him awake. He's not like, oh, there's this match coming up. He's just knocked out.
Well, hold on. The main event was the end of the tag team turmoil, and I was locked the fuck in.
Okay, all right, okay.
Bobby and Omos, rock hard, baby, stiffing me up, nigga. What are you talking about?
Okay, Bobby and Omos.
Bobby
That
and
got you.
Omos.
That got you. That didn't get me.
Bobby and Omos was. Yeah,
Are we getting Bobby versus Omos at Criminals? No, we're getting Bobby and Randy. So like, I'm like, Omos got. He looks strong, great, and we see where he can go. We know where Omos can go, but I just feel like, as far as the way Raw has been, it's just not. It's just been lackluster for some time now. The last really exciting thing I've seen was just Randy Orton. I mean, and Riddle. And I like what Damian Priest is doing with and the matches they're having. The matches are good with the United States Championship ring. But as far as building any angles and me being, all right, this angle is leading to this match, and I want to see this match, then, and especially for the main event scene, I've been a little bit.
No wrestling is doing that. No wrestling is doing that outside of SmackDown. NXT's not doing it. Raw's not doing it.
AEW ain't doing it. Daniel Bryan and Kenny Mo, you ain't tapped in for that at all.
But you're talking about an angle. That's not an angle. That's just like literally a match.
They are putting the match together with an angle by him coming out and challenging him. What do you expect?
No. Okay. You just said that you like the matches, but you don't like the angles on Raw, where the matches are leading to an angle in the United States Championship.
The matches are good. So when I watch Raw, I see good matches, put it that way. But as far as like I said, the angles of seeing, okay, yes, you're right. AEW, Kenny Omega, Daniel Bryan is a match. That's how they book their angles. They just say, hey, it's wrestling. These guys are competing and they want to be the best wrestler. That's how AEW is. I'm not saying I need like a storyline with Damian Priest at all. I'm not, but for the main character, the main guy on your show, the storyline you're putting to me on a consistent basis, don't grab me. It don't grab me for some time now. So I think the main event on SmackDown, they're doing perfectly. The main event on Raw is lackluster. So I come to the show for the main event angle, and I feel like I do watch a lot in the interim that's like average.
So that's my comparison to Raw and AEW. I put them on the same pedestal. Christian Cage and Kenny Omega's not getting me in that fucking door either.
They're not the angle anymore though.
No, but
CM Punk did.
But that's not what we're talking. You just said the main event CM Punk was not the main event.
Okay,
Kenny Omega was
this. How do I put this? The main event angle going into All Out was CM Punk.
No, it was not. It was not. The main event angle going into All Out was Kenny Omega and Christian Cage. The main event,
the title match. Okay. I guess what their biggest draw to All Out was CM Punk. That was the biggest draw to the show. You got there, and you also got.
But that's not the main. That's not. So
you want to talk about the main event title? And I know I'm being a little bit confusing because the main event title, the title picture, and what they're saying. Okay, right now the main event angle on Raw, it feels like it's a tag team division. That's what it feels like.
Why does that? Okay, if they have,
the guy with the title, I don't feel like they're really using him the best way. I think that it's been like that for a couple of months now.
In comparison, when I said Roman has to stop fighting his niggas and get some interesting fucking niggas to have a storyline with, that's what I meant because it was getting a little stale. When Kenny Omega is wrestling fucking Orange Cassidy and now Christian Cage twice for 2 different titles and then have and bro, that okay, like
I feel you know.
They have a point. And then Bobby isn't right now, yes, but that ain't necessarily what I am going to Raw for. I'm not going to.
That's not true. You want to see him.
I do want to see
because here's the thing. You when you say who's WWE champion
it's Bobby Lashley.
It's Bobby Lashley. So I don't like the way they've been positioning him as a champion.
Okay. When Chris Jericho was the champion, I wasn't going for him. I was going for the tag teams because that's what they built it on. When Brody was the TNT champion, I was specifically only going for him.
Okay.
So when there are things that get me drawn in, whatever else you surround that with, that's on you. But if you give me something that I'm already walking in the door for,
and that's my point.
You know what I mean?
With Raw, and we can move on to SmackDown, but with Raw, they're not doing that.
But Raw, they got me in the door with Charlotte and Nia.
And Raw, they're not doing that for me at all.
I
feel like
even Raw, even Nia and Charlotte didn't get you the past 2 weeks.
Nia and Charlotte has excited me, but it can't just be that. Like I think that was like, all right, the match is gonna happen. I'm down to see the match. I'm tuning into Raw. And I gotta sit here for 2 hours until that match comes.
I'm gonna be okay. So when 2 weeks ago, when they had the normal promo, and it was supposed to be Bobby and Sheamus, which we thought we was gonna see, and they switched it and said we're gonna give you this triple threat. You got the triple threat, and then you got Charlotte and Nia. That was 2 weeks ago.
Okay, that was 2 weeks ago.
And then the following week, which was with this past Monday, we got what got me in the door was the rematch of Charlotte and Nia.
And that's the thing. It's very contextual because the matches on Raw and everybody there are great workers. You know, I'm saying the way their angles are is just like the Charlotte and Nia thing is almost like a spontaneous combustion where you guys just happen to get something like lightning in a bottle.
Correct.
And I'm like, you guys suck at writing. You guys just are not good at putting together a show with wrestlers and saying, you know what, you guys got to see this. Raw is not that. SmackDown has got to see. AEW's got to see.
Going back to the roster, what we're talking about, we say SmackDown is stacked. Looking at Raw, and they have a good roster. It's not stacked.
SmackDown?
Raw.
Oh, Raw?
Raw's not stacked.
I think it is. I think Bobby, Drew, Sheamus, Randy, Matt Riddle.
And those are all the guys that are in the main event now.
It's not the matches, man. I'm talking about the
angles.
Just, they don't know how to use what they got.
Okay,
SmackDown or AEW.
Bobby and Drew can't go no more. So they bump Drew down. So he's not in it. But even with Bobby and Drew, you said the story wasn't good.
No, I like Bobby and Drew. I like Bobby.
So
that's when things were getting kind of weird because it was the build to WrestleMania that you guys. I didn't want to see the match, but the build
was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
And then they had
after that,
with the backlash
with Braun Strowman, and then and then I love what they did with them afterwards.
So when did Bobby's reign stop
right
getting interesting?
Right after Drew, the Kofi stuff, I was like, all right, the girls. I was like, all right, and then they came around with it, and you know, Bobby got his heat back on it. Like he killed him. I was like, all right, boom. Then you give me Goldberg, all right, Bobby Goldberg Spears, and the kid comes. I'm like, all right, I don't care about watching the show. I don't. But then the main event, like the matches, like then you get to SummerSlam, boom, you give him his heat back, and then you bring Bobby down a notch again the next week, and you have him get RKO'd and all this shit, and then put him in the tag division. Now he's chasing Randy. Why is Bobby chasing Randy? He's the WWE champion. He should be sitting back waiting like, yo, who's next? He just killed Goldberg, a legend. Damian Priest came out and said, oh, how could you do that? Give me Damian Priest and him, fine. You know, like
you rolled your eyes. So that goes back to
if you guys want to actually like keep his energy moving forward.
But I don't want Bobby and Priest because Priest just won the United States Championship.
So then give that same promo to whoever's next.
So who is next? Look at the roster. Who's next?
Who's next? Oh, who's next?
That's what I'm saying. Who's next? Look at the roster.
Listen, who's next? You got Sheamus, like you said. Sheamus.
Okay, Sheamus. Yes. Okay, Sheamus is the only.
I don't mind Randy Orton, but the way they're doing it, like I said, change it up. Randy Orton challenges him, so I want to be a double champion. It's different to me. You know, it's just different to me.
But that even with that, as Bobby claiming that he's insatiable, that doesn't move me either. But I'm also looking at what they have, and like, yes, they could give me Sheamus, but I don't want Sheamus now after he lost the Priest. He lost the Priest. He didn't get pinned in the triple threat, and now so he's still intertwined with the United States Championship.
If you put Sheamus in a space where he takes some clean victories on Raw, like just clean victories and beats people, you'll be right back into.
I'm right back into. But if Sheamus lose the Priest at Extreme Rules, I don't want Sheamus going up against Bobby.
At this point, no. But because what you're gonna get Goldberg coming back for Crown Jewel. That's what you're gonna get.
And I think that's why we don't have
in the same space that we always been.
Well, okay. So with that being said, Bobby and Goldberg isn't going to be for the title. It's just going to be a spectacle.
So we got to put the title on Randy then. That's where we're at. We got to put the title.
You don't think the title got to go on Randy? So Randy's going to be a double champion?
At this point, where do you make the bang for your buck? If Goldberg and him are not going to be for the championship,
just keep the title. Okay, Bobby doesn't have to have the greatest reign ever for it to be substantial when it matters.
He's definitely had a good reign as far as what he's put on table in the ring.
So what I'm saying,
he's been great. I can go back and watch Bobby Lashley matches all time.
So what I'm saying right now, it's already September. Next, the Crown Jewel's in October. If he don't lose the title in those two matches, that's cool. We get Bobby and Roman at SummerSlam.
That's Survivor Series.
That's Survivor Series.
Yeah. I hope so.
So
I gotta wait 2 months. So
optimism wise, yes.
Okay, cool.
So
that's where I'm at. I'm fine with that. So we're on the same page.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
we're on the same page. I mean, I'll be back in 2 months, Raw. Like,
yo, and we'll be knee deep in football, and by then you'll know the Jets suck. You know what
I mean? Oh shit. Okay. Oh man. But no, I hear what you're saying, man. And that's where I'm at with Raw. You know, and just keep it up. I'm not saying I'm not going to. I'll look at what's going on, and if you guys, your marquee brings me to your show, I'll watch it. Now Matt Riddle's there. I'd love to see if he has a good match. I'll go back and watch it if I find out afterwards. And that's how I'm going to take it.
And that's fine. That's the evolution of wrestling. We just literally flip flop. I told you I just said I did not give a fuck about Raw and didn't watch Raw. We are in the same. And guess who was the centerpiece in both of those? Bobby. When Bobby was with Leo and he was fucking doing God's know what, we was like, oh, this nigga is in too much of a limbo. I'm out. Now Bobby's too much of a limbo.
They had it with his sisters and shit. And I mean, I'm glad he got the title though. I'm all for it. I think that I got Braun, him and Drew match. I think is one of the best matches of the year, honestly. I would put that in my match of the year candidate. There's a lot that Bobby's done during this reign that's been good. Even him and Kofi, that just killing him right there, like it means something.
And I am conditioned, but I know what. Okay, because You put me on New Japan, right? I know I don't like 60-minute matches. I can't.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, if you can give me a nice 30, 45-minute strong storytelling match. Now, if we build up and we got an Iron Man match type thing,
then you'll stick around.
I'm good. Like, okay, I know what I'm getting myself into. But for shit just to be long for no reason, like, that was not it. And then also, New Japan, also, like you said, the barrier of watching it, you know what I mean? And now talking about, the diversity situation, wrestling wasn't always giving us the representation. You know what I mean? I wasn't seeing no black niggas in New Japan. I was just going to see some good matches. I wasn't seeing no women in New Japan. You know what I mean? I was just going to see some good male matches. Then WWE started coming around, giving us really good women matches, starting incorporating brothers in it. You know what I mean? Knew they had the long reign. Kofi wins the championship. Yeah, Biggie wins Intercontinental Championship. Like, we were hitting a stride where Street Profits come, right? And NXT, right? We was in a stride where shit was super litty. And it was like, okay, I can go back to WWE and feel comfortable watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even though knowing everything we know about what we know about the company and all that,
exactly.
Like, wrestling gave us good shit there.
Yeah, we were just talking about Kanye before the pod, and I'm like, yo, if you're, I know who you are. I'll take what I take from you, and that's it, And I know who WWE is. They put their guys' bags in trash bags and not even knowing it, and give it to them. That's the company, man. That shit happens in that company. Maybe an accident, but it's possible because they're not really intent to their consumer or their employees. Sometimes they're doing their own plan. They have their own. They have their own consumer ideas.
And that is, and for people that we talk about all the time, supporting the corporate. We don't have to support the corporation. I'm not supporting the corporation, but I am supporting the corporation.
At this point, at this point, it is what it is.
You feel me? Like I am supporting the corporation. Nigga.
It's a grander scheme to like just life in general. We're in a system. We're in a government. Free will is a topic of conversation that it's a debate. I'm going to take what I got to take from WWE free willingly, and that's it. Because it's like, hey,
I need shit here tomorrow. I gotta go to Amazon.
Yeah.
Even though I know who Jeff Bezos is, what Jeff Bezos does, what those workers go through. Ivana, my wife, was just talking about an Amazon package came to the door, and then she got scared because she didn't know if the nigga was creeping or not, but the nigga was having technical difficulties to let them niggas know that the package got delivered because, if the shit ain't delivered on time, them niggas get dinged. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, I go to Walmart every fucking day. You know what I mean? Like, I still eat at Chick-fil-A. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is with it. And with WWE, it absolutely is what it is.
And Raw is what it is. I came in here a couple pods ago, I was like, yo, Raw's for the younger audience. But at this point, I don't even know. I just don't know what they're doing. I just don't know what their plan is. I have no idea. And I don't necessarily need to know, but I know it's not for me. That's what it is. It's like, I know that Raw has talent on the show that I like to see, but I'm not going to see you live. I'll see you in hindsight when you do something great. It's like, but SmackDown, I got to go live, watch it.
Yeah.
And that's.
But you did.
Huh?
Well, I
did it because of family stuff.
Yeah. But
I wanted to because I was on the phone thinking, I got to get the SmackDown.
I was there. I hung up with Rich. I walked the dogs in like 25 minutes. I told the kids, like, nigga, I was locked in.
Yeah.
Brock was there within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Shit was lit, nigga. Like, SmackDown was off the races. But then again, we talk about the blind spots. We talk about Zelina Vega not being a highlight on SmackDown. We talk about SmackDown not even having a women's match. They had a dark match. They had Rhea and Charlotte. A lot of people said that tore the house down. But they didn't have they had one women's segment, which was a pretty good segment. With Bianca and Becky. So there are hindsight. There are blind spots within the show, but it was a good show. It was a good watch. You know what I mean? Like, could it have been better? I don't know. Usos and Street Profits slap.
Mm-hmm. I
Uh,
was really satisfied with the show.
Edge
Man.
and Seth
Slap.
slap. You feel me?
One of the matches of the week for me.
Now, my thing is, we did not need that 10 man. We did not need that 10 man, and that goes into our book in black because that 10 man led into
Wait, you didn't like Trae Young coming through?
Oh, hold on. That popped me though. That popped. Okay, yes.
That's what that was for. That's why Zelina didn't get her match because Trae Young was there. That's what. That's exactly what they were doing. That's the business move.
Was it that, or do you think Seth and Edge?
It's the Garden. Yeah, I think that Seth and Edge was long, but it's the Garden. They book Garden differently. And it was a good match. Like Seth and Edge can say, like, "Yo, remember when we wrestled at the Garden?" Like, and we had that epic, and it was
a great match.
Great match.
It was a great match. It was different storytelling than SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? It was, and also I was a fan of it being a TV match, but also not a fan of a TV match because sometimes it takes me out with the commercials.
Yeah. But being back in the Garden the first time since pandemic, it was lit. Roman came out, immediately on site. They just give you Brock, called out Roman, like it was like, wow, instead of like trying to drag us through the night like a regular show, they're like, this is the Garden. We're gonna just here you go. Either the Usos come back, into the ring because he's about to F5 Paul Heyman. They tease that. Usos come in and they take him out. I think that they are all running on all cylinders on SmackDown. I just can't say anything bad about the show. I really can't.
I can. The Intercontinental Championship is in limbo.
It's just an act right
now. If that was the case, let Apollo get his shit back, and then we'll run, and we'll just start up new challenges. You feel me? Or if that's the case,
they can't have Shinsuke without with the crown and no title. They needed that. I think that's the thing. And then you got Rude boobs and all that shit. He just be glitching the fuck out. And sometimes it's good, and sometimes I'm like, what the fuck is this nigga doing?
Just feeling it.
Yeah. Yo, he's in a vibe though, but like when it comes to that, like that's what it is. Sami Zayn came back. He had Trae Young get his heat. I think that it was a great move. On WWE part, the whole night went well. It reminded me of them being on the pulse, like just kind of like rolling out. So I'm like, oh, these things like I like. I can't hate you.
And that goes back to you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
Because when we talk about SmackDown, they didn't have women, and that was a big thing because women was upset.
Yeah.
Especially after NWA showed that you can. And because it's not just SmackDown, it is AEW too.
How did the NWA show do Byron? Do you know?
Oh, they did good. They did good. They did.
I'll be honest. I did not tune in. I got the news in hindsight. I would I have if I don't know because I didn't really hear much about it. I knew it was coming, but I didn't hear much about it. Now I do believe that WWE they did an all women show. I would be there. So it's not a woman thing. It's all right, it's a. I just don't know NWA. I don't watch even the man show, or the regular show.
Yeah, okay. So that goes back to the larger conversation I was having on Twitter, and I guess we can have it right now. It's not just I guess Book and Black can be all encompassing with it. People made a point was like when it's available to you, you don't support it. And then say it's not there. So, with that being said, is it they didn't promote it and we didn't know about it, or we just didn't go?
I can be a little bit controversial, but I don't think women wrestling is in a bad place at all. I think they're right where it should be. I think that women wrestling should have a spot in Madison Square Garden. Don't get me wrong, absolutely. That is a misstep. I don't know how you would have fit it. Maybe you could have cut the promo with Big E. I don't know, but they do deserve a pot. But then they have Becky Lynch and Shots. They already booked the contract signing with Becky Lynch and Bianca. So it's like, all right, they got Brock. They're setting up the match at the end of the night. They got Seth and Edge to give them give them a score guard and a really good match. You know, I where do you fit that match in? And then if they had the match, it just would have been like, okay, this is a women's tag team match. This is mid, you know. And on that night, it just didn't fit. And I understand with the way things walked ended up. It's just business, but that's WWE for you. Now, like you said earlier, AEW, I think that you probably would have had that match just out of the because they're more in tune with the person
But okay, so
bringing the moment.
So we talk about the balancing act. Okay, so if AEW would have gave us that match, do AEW give us the black wrestling? Because after All Out, the thing was, hey, we're happy that some more white guys are here, but we're the niggas.
I think that those are the black guys who are biased against AEW. That's what I think it is. I think there's a lot of talent that is young in AEW that's black. They just signed Lee Moriarty. Shout out to him. You talked that into existence.
That was the aftermath of the conversation though too as well.
Okay.
So, that's what I'm saying. So the zeitgeist of it all is AEW did need to, just how we said NXT needed to get a little bit more flavor, right? Mm-hmm. For the longest, NXT was rock band and white indie wrestlers because at that point in time, it was not a lot of black indie wrestlers or black stars that was sought out to be fucking prominent.
And for the longest time, we were like, "Yo, Swerve needs to be in NXT," and then we knew what was happening.
And now we got everybody making 500 lists and shit like that because there's that many fucking wrestlers. So with that being said,
it takes time. And that's what I think I will say is like when it comes like we had the conversation on the phone like. Who do you guys want in this company?
I said Lee, AJ Gray.
AJ Gray. Okay, cool. I was like JTG. He's been on there. He hasn't had a run where I feel like he's peaked.
JTG and Miro was slap.
JTG and Miro would be great. I saw him. He was at the GCW Violence and Mayhem match and during WrestleMania week had a great hardcore match, barbed wire and everything. Him and John Moxley would if they did that, I'm there. And I think he has a great look. He kept himself in shape. He's known. He has a name, and I think that he has potential as far as making it on his own as a singles act and taking his career to the next level. In AEW, it's a perfect opportunity, for him to be a huge star in AEW. I like Shane Taylor, but he's an ROH. He signed already. What acts are there that you can see them pluck and be in the main event right away? Well, even JTG couldn't be in the main event right away, but
it's not even
Scorpio Sky. There's the other Lee.
Lee Johnson.
Lee Johnson.
But okay. All right. So Private Party. Jay Cargill, Red Velvet, Swole, Will Hobbs, Ricky Starks.
That's a lot of people, man. They just gotta get over it.
That's 7.
We're just counting black people, and you gotta still fill out the rest of your roster.
But that's okay. Niggas made a list of 500.
How many do you want to sign? All 500?
No, but nigga, okay. All I'm saying is,
who's over that's indie right now, and you would want? We said JTG. We said Shane Taylor. Those are 2 people. Granted, I feel you on that. They just signed Lee. He spoke out. They listened. At this point, what are we gonna say? We got Lee a job. Like, what else we gotta say? Like, you have to have, unless you want an all black show. Like, what are we talking about here?
Well, okay. All right.
I mean, I know that.
I'm just.
You want to watch Homeboy? What's his name from Love and Hip Hop? Stevie J and and Lil Scrappy. Like that. They that's the thing. They had a lot of wrestlers. Red Velvet was just in the main event. Not too long ago on Rampage. So like, I'm like, the black thing is not a thing to me at all.
Okay, I would say, looking at this show, I do not see the direction for But if even Bobby don't have
Will Hobbs and CM Punk's gonna be good.
Okay, Will Hobbs and CM hopefully will be good.
Okay.
Because I, for one, didn't even. Am I happy that it's happening? Not really.
It's CM Punk.
I know,
guy. Come on.
It's the rub
at some point, we can criticize it all day, but
it's the
they're doing what they got to do. They're hiring black people.
Yeah. Okay.
They got CM Punk. Even like these are, like what else as a wrestling company can you do and say, yeah, that's it. That's what I want. That's
correct. I mean, at the same time, when I say, is it good enough? On the other side, is not. That's my so, and that's what that's what my argument.
We have a lot of black wrestlers in the wrestling professional wrestling atmosphere to support, whether they're in AEW or not. AEW might not be where you see your main favorite black wrestler. Me, Shane Taylor Promotions right now, I love it. I keep tuning into ROH to see what they're doing, on YouTube. So with that being said, NWA. If it was free and available on YouTube, would you have checked it out, or is it because it was behind a paywall and you didn't seek the fight? Oh, that's a good question. It was on YouTube for a while, and guess what? Ricky Starks was there, and guess what? I was tuning in to watch Ricky Starks.
And the NWA Power Show, the all women's show.
Oh, the Power Show?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about it. I didn't know when it was. I don't watch NWA. I saw it scroll through my feed when I saw. Shout out to Kira Stevens was retiring Awesome Kong, and and retiring with Gail Kim. I saw that. That's a big moment in the industry, and she was a legend. She just didn't need to do it in the E. She's still a legend. I think that NWA Power. I might have. I don't know. That's the thing. I just didn't know about it. I don't watch it already. So it's not a woman thing. And it's not a black thing to me. So that it didn't get my attention.
So with that being said. But there's a lot of representation, black people and women's wrestling on Dark. For people who complain that there's not a lot of representation and women's wrestling on Dynamite, are we supposed to go to Dark and elevate that and make noise until
women's representation? What's the problem? They just had the women's battle royale. Britt Baker's the champion. Red Velvet was her contender. She didn't get the victory, but. What are we?
I mean, people are complaining. Again, the whole thing is people are finding reasons to complain because things don't fit what they like. Right. Okay. SmackDown didn't have women's wrestling. AEW doesn't have a lot of women wrestling or a lot of representation available on national TV.
I see.
You know what I mean?
So it could be better.
It could be better.
I'm with that. I'm willing to say it could be better. And a lot of things could be better in wrestling right now. And I agree that women's wrestling is right now, what I'm coming to see is Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. I'm interested in that. I would have been interested in Nia Jax, Charlotte, if it was Extreme Rules. Nia Jax and Shayna, if they give me that, I'm interested into it. Britt Baker and Ruby Soho, I'm going to be tuned in. I'm going to be tuned into that. Jade Cargill, whatever she does, literally. So I don't, it's there are women that I like. Red Velvet too, very talented. Swole.
So
Swole and Deontay, they're gonna have they had some chemistry. I believe there's
I went to watch
and we're watching it.
I went to go watch Swerve and Diamante the 3 stages of hell match that they had. It was a pinfall submission and then knockout match.
Okay.
So it was fire. It was fire.
So
I went and sought that out. That was fire.
If you want to see it, yeah, you're gonna get it on Dark too. But if it's somebody you want to see, then it's somebody you'll go watch it. If somebody you don't, you'll wait until you see the Bianca and Sasha thing, and then that's your women's wrestling. Or you wait till see Britt Baker and Ruby Soho. And if it's somebody you want to see, you'll tune in for that girl. If it's a specific girl.
Well, you talk about things that could be better. Okay, niggas tune in for SmackDown to see Big E and what he possibly would do for the Money in the Bank cash-in. He talked about possibly pulling up at Raw. Maybe that gets the juices flowing. You know what I mean?
Oh, Big E. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
that is what I'm thinking. That is where I want to go on Raw. That will get me right there.
Booking Black. We're doing it right now, Big E.
Book and Black, Big
Book
E.
and Black, Book Big E. We about to see. These cameras are pissing me the fuck off. All right, so
is
let's.
it 2 minutes thing again?
I don't know. I don't.
So Book and Black, we're doing Big E this week. Mr. Money in the Bank, bro. Big E cashing in.
Yes.
On Bobby Lashley. I'm there. If Big E cashes in on Bobby Lashley, and he gets to celebrate with his New Day family and get drafted to Raw. Raw has a lot of intrigue at that moment.
What if Big E cashes in at Saudi Arabia?
Fuck, that'll be awesome.
Or at Extreme Rules, maybe maybe the tag team situation is intertwined, and we're not paying attention to the little Easter eggs.
I know I said I wanted Big E to hold it to all the way to WrestleMania, but
maybe the tag situation is intertwined with oh shit.
With the tag, like the New Day?
Yeah, maybe this whole storyline of
I would believe it if they didn't eliminate New Day from the main arc and angle. The angle they ended with was Omos and AJ, MVP and Bobby, and Riddle and Randy Orton. That they have a potential to put AJ and Omos in that somewhat. With New Day, they got eliminated. They're just not. They're not leading that up. They're not seeing that foresight. They can really build it that way though. It's possible. New Day, the tag division with MVP and and Bobby and somehow Big E, he tries to attack him. Big E comes to save him, or Big E cashes in after something happens with Randy and Extreme Rules. I don't know. It's a lot of different ways you can do it. And then his boys come out to celebrate, and he gets some redemption on Bobby after him. Destroying the New Day a couple months ago.
Bobby and Big E will supplement me not having Bobby and Brock, because it's still
even Paul Heyman was like, "Yo, Brock, we can go get Bobby," just like you were saying. yeah, that's like for real. Paul Heyman was like, "No, we." Yeah, I love what they're doing on SmackDown, but Big E though going to Raw. Raw needs a jolt of like adrenaline or something, And
honestly, like Big E is the young enough face where they can and again, all they need is just something to get you there.
Exactly.
You feel me?
Days or months until you get the next thing.
Exactly.
So right now, I'm just being aware of where I'm at right now. Next week, I might say Raw is the best show. I'm not lying to you. I could do that because I can be objective about my subjectivity and see, okay, this is what I like and this is what I don't. I know what I like.
Yo, that is the name of the podcast. Objective about my subjectivity.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
That's fire, nigga.
I can be objective about my subjectivity. So at this point, I'm a grown ass man. I know what I like and know what I don't. And if you guys give me what I like, I'll see it. And I'm like, yep, that's it. And I'll let you know every single time. Other times, I'm gonna be like, don't like that shit. And I'm just gonna keep it real from now on. Big E going to Raw, I think, will give a jolt of energy to Raw, and that's something I'm gonna like. So Book and Black, that's what I want to see. And I think it's necessary. I wanted him to hold it to WrestleMania. We might not get that. All right. And I'm fine with that because Raw is in need of a little bit of CPR. To me.
Yeah. I mean, I think, honestly, Raw hasn't been the best. Raw hasn't been the worst. Again, always, my viewing pleasure is different than yours. We already have this conversation. I am in tune when I am in tune. But even when I'm in tune, I still got shit that I gotta do. You know what I mean? Yeah. So now, especially if I know going into it, you know what I mean? Raw ain't really hitting right now.
I can tell.
Really, exactly.
I can tell before cards even coming out.
So we were like, all right, cool. So
and I'll tap in on YouTube or I'll tap in
on
social media and see. Oh, that's what happened.
What I am telling you is, Raw will surprise niggas. Just
Okay.
like I think AEW will surprise niggas because,
Okay.
like I say, they aren't in a bad position to me.
And I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah,
the
man.
Jets will also surprise niggas. You sound just like me when you say that. So I'm gonna be honest. The Jets will surprise niggas. You guys wait and see. Raw will surprise niggas. All right, I'll wait and see. And when it does, I'll
Raw
be real.
is
I'll
not
be
the
real.
Raw
I'll
is
be
not
real.
the Jets, nigga.
Raw's the Jets.
No, the fuck they are. All right,
They have all the pieces. They have all.
Oh,
Okay, they got all the.
I'm
They
glad
got.
the camera
They all.
died,
They have all the
nigga. We
pieces
just
to.
on live, that's cool.
They have all the pieces. Not okay. Not all the pieces. They don't got all the pieces, but they have the offense to compete.
They don't.
Okay. Okay.
Bruh, I'm not
We
doing.
won't gotta do it on the pod, but
Hold
they
on.
got the offense to compete. I think Raw has the offense to compete. They got the players to meet. They got the players on the roster to compete. The defense, the writing staff, they just gotta put it all together. And then we got something. That's all I'm gonna say.
Y'all niggas
And
got
here we
a
are.
first-time head coach.
Yes.
Rookie quarterback.
We're not saying we're going to
You
Super Bowl.
don't. Hold
I
on.
never said we're going to Super Bowl.
Hold on. You
I said you said surprise you.
No.
Raw, Jets can surprise you. That's all I'm saying.
You said Raw is the Jets. And
We're talking about surprise you. We're not saying that we're going to Super Bowl. I'm not saying that we're going to have
surprise you as in what?
The Jets can win like 8 games.
Okay.
All right, we'll see. We should make a bet.
Yes. Yo, I think we gonna wrap up the pod on this.
Oh
nigga.
no.
Yeah. What else we got, man? Wait
a minute. You wanted to talk about 9/11. Today's 9/11.
Yes.
So
yes.
you know, let's.
We are recording on 9/11, and we are native
New Yorkers.
State of, but you definitely was closer to the city during that time than I was. This is the 20th anniversary, and it's crazy 20th anniversary. I'm 30. I'll be 32 next week in 2 weeks. Get 32. So we're 12, right? When that shit, you know what I mean, happened, and to not even kind of like you read the history, you read your social studies. That's what it was in class, social studies. You read your social studies books and you see shit about Pearl Harbor and World War II and fucking you read stuff. You like, man, this is damn. They really did this shit, and they really did this shit. Damn, and to like, damn, they really doing some shit, nigga. Like it was surreal at that moment because what led after it. Anthrax, niggas was talking about mail and shit like life, airports, everything changed to where you don't need the technology.
It
like
was scary as hell.
Everything was.
It definitely was the way of life changed from that.
The way of life changed. I don't
kind of like the pandemic.
I don't remember life before 9/11.
They're both like that. Like there's big moments in life sometimes where like the way of life changed after that that point forward. 9/11 is one of them, and I remember like they were scared even in my school.
Right.
They had to stop school. And they were like, all right, we just got to take you to this room, and we had to wait there for a while to just get notice on what to do next. Then the buses came, and in the middle of the day, you went home.
Yeah.
They were like, what's happening? They said, we can't tell you. And I get home, and then we see on the news, like, the towers, So it was, it changed the way of life, and I think that we always want to remember these times of life, where we have some kind of remembrance for the people that we lost and the times that we've been through to get to this point where we're at right now. And so that's why they say never forget, because honoring that moment of time is just like, we're going to be talking about the pandemic for a long time, like, honoring this moment in time because people are losing their lives just like that tragic moment. But being New Yorkers, that moment changed, but what kept me through? Wrestling. All through both wrestling. And wrestling was on that night because they wanted to put on a performance.
It was the first live performance after 9/11 they had. Mm-hmm. That they had I think it was a tape SmackDown. And wrestling gave them the Yankees encouragement to fucking go forward with the World Series and shit like that. You know what I mean? It was a domino effect of resiliency. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But unfortunately, like you say, when you realize what it is, it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? Because 20 years later, we are still held captive by the aftermath of 9/11, and not even in a good way. You know what I mean? Like
I think that we are when we're traumatized as human beings. I feel like we remember those moments, it becomes part of like your DNA for a moment in time. And if you're a New Yorker, you know what you went through, and I feel like that New Yorkers experienced that. Just like people who live through Pearl Harbor or people who live through other moments in time where it's just stuck ingrained in your memory forever. You just know you know exactly where you were, what you were doing. You're like that moment. You remember every little bits and piece of it. And I look at it like this. You know, this is another moment in life, even on this podcast. And when you are having these moments of time in life, appreciate them because you never know what. That's a plane hitting a building. Like, come on, man. Like, shattered our reality.
yeah,
But
yeah,
appreciate every moment because you don't know what could happen. And I honor all the firefighters who were working that. Honor that, in a sense. And you say not in a good way, but that's how you can cope with it at least and get through these days.
yeah.
And moments in time.
I can agree with you on that. I I watched a couple of documentaries on it because it is the 20th anniversary. So WWE is gonna be putting out their thing. It's one on Netflix. It's one on
Yeah, the
Apple
Jets just
TV.
released one
Yeah,
because
man.
the coach, his brother was in the towers and he got out. He survived, and um, you know, that's what kind of like made the coach want to do coaching. He's like, I can't do anything else. He had left his career to chase his dream and be in the NFL. Working in the NFL as a coach, and he accomplished it. Like that moment in time changed a lot of lives.
It
That's what I'm
did,
trying.
man.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I enlisted in the military because of essentially what happened of 9/11. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And the military now provides me with everything that I smoke weed for a living. So, shout out to 9/11 being something that gave it it took life, but it gave new life.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we are now actually should be more conscious. You know what I mean? Like I know I never ride an airplane the same again.
Hmm.
I never do. I never now do not cherish, like you say, the moments
Yeah,
because it was a regular Tuesday morning, bro.
crazy.
A regular Tuesday morning. You know what I mean? So, and and like you say, what got you through it, what got most of us through it, was wrestling. Kurt Angle won the fucking WWE Championship at Unforgiven in 2001 in Pittsburgh, right? And that was a moment. The Olympic gold medalist, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And WWE rerouted themselves like, nah, this is. I mean, again, Kurt kind of deserves it as well, but like again, wrestling was able to wrap a feel good moment around something that was tragic, and you know, yesterday was a fucking great all time show for people who wanted to, have a good time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like have a like take. They went, got
Yeah,
celebrated,
I
had
mean,
a
you
good
gotta you
night.
gotta hand it
Yeah, I
to wrestling
mean,
because wrestling, in times of struggle, it keeps us going and it just keeps the spirit alive. Things like this. And I'm glad that the people are like WWE is honoring it. I'm glad that our entertainment sources are also keeping that in mind. You know, but yeah, we just want to say our little pieces on and give our little tribute as well on this day. And also shout out to talking about loss of life. Al Snow's out there saving lives, and shout out, and rest in peace, Daphne. There's a lot that we missed this past
man,
week.
man.
These like when we talk about lives, there's so much we can go into. So like I'm saying, honor the moments that we have
Yeah,
and take every moment as a gift.
man, that's. like you say, the juxtaposition of that,
Yeah.
the juxtaposition of it all. You know what I mean? Like WWE gave New York City a great moment, took a great moment from Zelina, but ultimately gave a great moment. Al Snow gave himself up to save someone else. Someone couldn't save themselves from themselves.
That's why you
It's
appreciate it all.
You gotta appreciate it all, man.
Take
Like
every moment as a blessing, and that's why I like this podcast, because it's like we just talk our soul on here and just be real about life and wrestling, because everything is wrestling.
everything was fucking wrestling.
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, so we are going to wrap it up. Had a nice podcast. Wow, almost 2 hours.
Yeah, man.
It was good. It
was a good one, man.
It was good shit, man. So thank y'all guys for listening.
Yeah.
You know, we
Thank
out.
you. Yeah, peace.
Peace. Save.
Yep. That was good.
Every fucking camera shitting on us. We have to figure out this Camden situation. I have no idea what's wrong with these shits.
Shit, that was a really good pod too. I don't think we missed a beat.
Nah, it was a good show. We covered a lot, and honestly, the diversity conversation that you had was really good. I'm glad I led you there because, like you say, you know, there is a lot of things available for us. You know, find it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
do everybody, but I think one of the biggest things too, and I guess we can keep this on the live. I think the biggest thing too that people were upset about with AEW is that they offered that to us without us asking for it.
What?
Diversity.
Oh, okay.
And
So they're people are a little bit more sensitive to it.
A little more sensitive
Yeah,
to it.
I believe. I agree. I agree.
So with that, but like you say, they do offer us things, and if we want it, but I do think, you know, just saying that we got Hobbs and Starks, you know, because outside of that, that's all we got. Because, you know, Lee Johnson and the Nightmare Factory, no one cares about the Nightmare Factory. Like
but they, you take hits on black people, and sometimes it's not gonna work. You know, so you're gonna take hits. Max Caster. I'm not even sure if these niggas are black, but I don't know.
No, Matt Caster and Anthony Bowen are black.
All right,
they're black. They're black.
So did we count them? I don't think we even
counted them. We didn't count them. No,
but the fact of the matter is, they have a lot of black talent, and they're young. We just don't know them yet. Like, you gotta give them the chance.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That is true. That is true.
Like, give them a chance, a young talent.
That is true.
Like Lee Moriarty, once he gets his gimmicks together and everything, he'd be the best wrestler. But if he don't, I mean, he might just be a guy who just has great matches, you know.
Lee Moriarty needs to be.
But if he adds a little swagger to that or whatever, because I think he has some swagger, even from the video we put together. You know, when Kim's out with his mask and everything, he has a little bit to him that.
Nah, Lee needs to be every bit of what fucking Danny Garcia is.
Okay, I think he should be a babyface.
Huh?
I think he should be a babyface though.
Yes, absolutely. I'm saying as far as like presentation wise. Yeah, man, you can end the live if you want.
All right, bet.
We can end the live if you want, and I'll set this camera up and we'll do behind the scenes.